Not very much.
Yeah, 10 is about up to here.
10, but okay, no, but the strings that.
Yes, to be within 3.5 inches of each other.
Yeah.
Or 3, whatever you have.
You have to have a bunch of
8, 7, yeah, it has to be within 24 centimeters of each other.
You have to have a lot of-
You don't have to have that much. 4 sets. 4 sets should be enough.
How many
And if you use beams, you can have 3 sets.
It says 8 centimeters is 3.15 inches. It says.
3.4 So set times 3 is the 320.
Okay, our next condition is the height of the wall. The wall must reach a height of 10 tefach from the ground. But even here, you can do the lava trick. How can you do the lava trick? You can have breaches in it on the bottom. So long as the start of the wall begins from within 20 centimeters of the ground, it's still good. So technically, you can get away with a 7.1 tefach wall around your sukkah. Height. Why? Because it's within 3 tefach of the ground, so that's considered closed, using lavud. And you have a height, measuring from the ground, you have 10 tefach, so it's good.
Mm-hmm.
So to have a very minimum measurement from the ground is not a problem, but in the case of this sukkah I was telling you about in Tiberia, they way overdid it. They were measuring tefachim like Chazanish times 10. And, I don't know what they did. And I spoke to the mashgiach, telling them, you guys, the sukkah's possible. It's a beautiful work of art. It's beautiful for pictures, but the sukkah's possible.
It was too high off the ground.
It was too high off the ground. He told me, yeah, but we did this problem and that problem, we couldn't do it. They weren't allowed. Okay, the sukkah's possible. Right? People can't eat it. So you can tell women to eat it to cover the chag. But men can't eat it. It's a possible sukkah. I told the mashgiach. And so that was the problem. They didn't even have one wall that was within 3 tefach, 24 centimeters from the ground. It's not a lot. A regular public bathroom door is above that. So it has to be close to the ground in order for it to be valid. Number 3. Oh, 1 second. That's what I just mentioned. Okay, 2 and 3 is
So close to the ground means the tefach?
3 tefach, 24 centimeters.
Okay.
And our 4th and last condition is as follows. The wall has to be within 3 tefach from the schach.
Oh, I thought you said there could be a big gap between the sky.
Oh, very good. I am not talking about vertical. I'm talking about horizontal. Meaning the following. Let me try to depict this here. Look, we're using our siddur, okay, as walls, okay? These are walls. This is, okay? This is our schach. What happens if these are my walls, and this is my walls, all kosher. This is 10 feet, okay? My schach is like this, perfect. I have another wall here, everything's perfect, no problem. Kosher, right? Now what happens if I have like this? This is my schach. I have 10 tefach here, 10 tefach here, air.
Oh, from the side, there's like one of the little thin
So can I eat under here? I have walls. Look to your sides. I have walls everywhere. It's no good. It has to be within 3 tefach from the wall.
The schach has
has to be horizontal.
this way and this way.
Horizontally, within 3 tefach from the wall.
This way and
So
this
if I have space of more than 3 tefach of air throughout the entire parameter of the wall in my schach, that wall is not a wall.
way. Okay. So
Now, it could still be kosher if I have a 4-wall sukkah, and I have 3 of them that's within the schach, and 1 that's not. Okay. You know how this can happen? This can happen on Shabbos and Yom Tov when the wind comes and blows the schach over. It can happen any time, but during the week you can fix it.
So,
On Shabbos and you can't fix it. So let's just say I had a full schach, okay? Everything's good. I'm a hadron sukkah. We have 4 walls. Comes along the wind, and the wind went like this.
blew that much away.
So if I have, so this wall is not a wall anymore. So if I have a 4th wall, I still have a kosher sukkah. On the 4th wall, if this was open, go to your neighbor, Steve.
Yeah.
You don't have a sukkah anymore.
You can't put your scarf back on?
On Shabbos Yom Tov. Okay?
So we
Now-
already learned though, the scarf can be very, very high.
Yes.
There'd be a big gap this
exactly.
way and this way.
But this is a horizontal distance. A vertical distance we already said we don't care about. Once you have your height of 10 tefach wall, it can be a gap up to 20 amps.
And again, we said we had scarf over here and this is kosher, as long
Now-
as there's minimum here.
There's a little, even though what I said is correct, there's a little bit of a clarification. This is only applicable when there is empty space, air, sky, between your wall and your schach, horizontally.
Horizontal, I mean, we were just describing.
Yeah.
This little,
Your wall is a 3 tefach distant from the schach, and you see the sky. Now, what happens if I have the following case? Okay. Shouldn't be using Sperm really for this, but I don't know what else.
You got the notebook?
I need something more.
What about the
Maybe
notebook
some of
again?
those sheets. Give me some of those sheets over there. Let's use.
That's a partial sheet.
Yeah, but it's less of a din of Niza. Okay, so let's do the following. We have a nice large sukkah. And this over here is a roof, okay? This is my porch, and this is my porch, and this is my porch. And this over here is a roof,
Not a schach roof.
not a schach roof, a real roof.
Oh,
Yeah,
I have a top porch on top of me. This is the guy's top porch on top of me, okay? I put my schach right here. Now, my schach has one wall. It has two. Here, there's no wall. Let's make it, there's no wall. Whenever you have 4 walls, it's kind of hard to invalidate this because you always have from a dimension, somehow you're going to get 3. Unless it went from 2 sides, and then you lost it. But if it only blew away from one side, usually you'll always still have 3. But let's maybe there's no wall here, okay? So I put my schach over here. I have 1 wall, 2 walls. Is this third wall a third wall? It's much further away than 24 centimeters. The answer is, if you have pasul schach, such as a roof, in your space between your wall and your schach, then you have up to 4 amas, not 3 tefach.
This solid wall can be 4
Exactly.
amas.
No, this solid roof.
Yeah, the roof.
The roof. The solid roof can be 4 amas, which is equivalent to 196 centimeters, 2 meters.
And then that makes this wall okay. So
And this wall is open.
an extension of it.
Exactly.
so it's lava.
Using lava gas.
Okay, and obviously you can only eat under this part though.
So these shilas come up all the time because there's a lot of different areas that have, that we build a wall next to an extension of a roof. And we build the schach around an extension, but the sukkah area is still under it.
Our porch has a one that's about that,
Yeah.
dimension-wise, that not much of an overhang, so we don't eat under this part. You can't eat under that part, right?
No, obviously you can't
No,
eat
no.
under the
Solid
non-schach.
wall. Right.
But the question is the rest of the sukkah
Yeah,
kosher?
right.
That's what we're dealing with here.
It's the women's section.
Right, so that's the women's section. That's what we have. By me, we have a very tiny. It's mamish like this. We have this is a wall. We have all this over here being as roofing, like a permanent roof puzzle, and only this area has kosher schach. So the men eat over here, and the women eat over here. But why is it kosher for me? It's kosher for me because I have 1 wall, 2 walls, 3 walls. But this wall for me doesn't count because it's more than 4 ounces.
Women who say leishe, women do say leishe,
Not in a puzzle sukkah.
they can't do it underneath that part. They have to be under the kosher
Exactly.
part of the sukkah.
So they come in here, they eat a kazayas with leishiv, and they go back.
They're allowed to make leishe, right? We encourage them.
Yes,
But,
yes,
They're
yes.
not required to.
Not required to, no.
They could eat anything.
Yeah.
So actually, I made an illustration here. I should have just showed you guys this to begin with. Okay, this is within 3 tefachim of the wall. This is the wall right here. So it's kosher, and this is not within 3 tefachim, so it's no good.
Oh, that's the stock that.
This is the stock. Yeah, the green is the stock.
I see. Mhm. And that goes for even this situation, this interesting situation where it's 7 and 7 and a little piece you needed here to make.
Correct.
the
It
full
all
3.
has to be
And the-
within
and the
within
stock
3
extended over
tefach.
here. You could eat over here, you
Yes.
said, but this stock also has to be within the
Correct.
framework of, it can't be like a little thin strip.
Yeah, so this at times happens that we lose. Let me think of other common examples that we would lose the wall, and mamish would become puzzle.
So the best is to make 4 walls in Hetzkilah, right?
That we already said that to begin with. It's
Right.
the best mitzad lichatchila halach. You're supposed to have 4 walls, just like Teshav came to do. No one's living. You don't live in an area with a broken wall, right? You live in an area with 4 in a closed area. In a house, but furthermore, it also benefits you that if something happens to this half and you lose one of your walls, you still have 3 to make it kosher.
And then also the Hetzkilah, you don't want to use string. You want to do actual like wooden boards or something like that where it's complete.
If you have tarp and string,
Right.
and you did it in a kosher way, then that's okay. That's good. You don't have to have. It's only Chazan Ish jury is very makbid to have actual walls made of boards, made of wood. We are not particular in that.
Oh, okay.
We'll discuss that later. It's another subject, but as long as you follow guidance, we said it doesn't matter how you want to build it.
Should be every
Three.
three tefach.
Within 3 tefach.
But every three tefach.
Correct.
So that
Until 10 tefach.
About 9 inches.
Until 10 tefach, until you reach 80 centimeters.
Until you reach 10 tefach from the ground.
Ground, yes.
Oh, so after that, you don't need it at all.
Yeah, we already said. Once you have a 10 tefach kosher wall, it doesn't matter how you created the kosher wall, what rules you used, it's good. It doesn't have to have anything else after it. So here's an interesting question that I received a few years back. An individual had a huge porch, but a tiny sukkah, because basically the way it was built is that he had someone else's porch projecting over his porch. So most cases, you usually get a little sliver at the side, at the back, one of the back sides of the porch. But he had a little sliver in the front of his porch, meaning by the door. He had a little sliver of air, more than 7 tefachim, so it was kosher. He would have a 7x7 tiny sukkah. But his problem was like this: is that because it was invalid walls of 4 amos, it was a huge sukkah, huge porch. Because he had, because the side walls of his porch were 4 amos distance from his kosher schach, meaning from the distance from the wall, from where the door opened up the porch, so he couldn't rely on those walls. So what wall was he relying on for his 2/3 walls? The door that opens up. The question is, can you rely on a sliding door as a wall? So I told him that whenever you open the door, you could, but whenever you open the door, your sukkah is puzzle.
Whenever you close it.
And whenever you close it, it's kosher. So as soon as you open the door to go in, you just puzzled your sukkah. And when you go in and close it, you just kosher your sukkah. I told him, but on Shabbos and Yontiv, you have a big problem.
Yeah.
Because once you go in and close the door, you just created a sukkah. Now you can't open it again. You have to stay there the whole Shabbos.
Wait a second. We have a sliding door that goes out to our porch.
Yeah, but is that one of your minimum 3 doors?
No, I don't think so.
What's the problem?
It's part of the wall.
Correct. This guy was relying on his 7 tefach door to be that sliding door. If your schach extends throughout the whole, sliding door has 2 sides usually. So if your schach is by both sides, you will always have a permanent 7 tefach sliding door that's staying there and not moving. So you're good. But if your porch is built in a way that you really don't have any room for your schach, and it's literally sitting over the sliding door, that's the only way to get in, and you have to open and close it, so you're relying on it as your wall.
So what's the issue when you're not able to open it again if it's Yom Tov or Shabbos? I don't understand.
Because you can't create a sukkah on Shabbos and Yom Tov.
Oh, I see. It's like building a
It's
sukkah.
building a sukkah. Every time you open it, you destroyed your sukkah. Every time you close it, you're building a sukkah.
And you're not, if you already had
The
a,
bottom line, I told him, Ted, he has to build 3 walls around this sliding door, meaning around the schach, he had to build 3 walls like this. So he doesn't rely on it.
So it would be within 4 hours.
Yeah, he would make makeshift walls under the roofing area, but next to the schach. Anyways, okay.
okay, we have 3 walls without that. So as long as we have 3 walls without our sliding door, we're okay.
Correct.
It remains a sukkah.
But even you can have, everyone has a door in their sukkah. Okay, you still consider a 4th wall with your door if you have 7 tefachim of wall past that door that opens and closes. You understand? So,
Yeah.
okay.
I think I'm moving it myself.
One second. Okay, this is a case we said before. Okay, let's go back to the case I said earlier. I'm going to re-clarify something by that case. We said we had the following. We have beautiful walls, everything's great, no roof problems, pure schach on top of it. And, okay, everything here is good. And it's even above, it's okay. This is 10 tefach high. Now we have our schach continues like this. Our schach continues like this. So I said before, no walls. I said before that this is good based on this. So a clarification. You need to have 1 wall that extends. Well, that's the case written in the Shulchan Aruch. I have to look into it. What if we don't even have 1 wall that extends? But the case written in the Shulchan Aruch is that if you have 1 wall that extends then it's still continuation of the whole sukkah. So, in other words, the point is that once you have your kosher dimension of walls of 7 by 7 in an area,
Plus
then
one.
you don't have to have that throughout the entire area of your schach for it to be kosher. So even I have to check if no walls extend, but if even one wall extends, then it's still considered kosher to eat under here, 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 here. They don't sell like little sukkah kits that I can do this with.
For teaching. Good idea.
Yeah, we got
Let's make it. What's wrong with that? But I will do that. I got another product in mind once.
It'll be great. It'll be great for your Chabad corner. No?
These people aren't concerned about the finer details yet of the building of sukkah.
Just the general thing, showing them.
Okay.
Okay. We discussed about the materials. Okay.
We can do again to what's kosher schach.
Oh, of course. Let's finish with the walls first and make sure it's done.
Oh.
About 5 minutes left. So.
Okay, we went through the plastic walls, the sheets. Okay, let's move on to the order of building it. This is a super important halacha. The order of building the sukkah. So you can always build something from top to bottom or bottom to top, right? What should be the correct order of building a sukkah? Answer is, always first build your kosher walls. Make sure you have kosher walls before you put your schach on. If you first put your schach on and only then you build your kosher walls, the sukkah is asur. So what do you do in such a case? Literally, you can have perfect walls, everything's mahadrim and a mahadrim, but just the order wasn't done correctly. You can bring 1,000 rabbanim to come look at the sukkah. They'll say it's beautiful, it's kosher, the most mahadrim, but they never saw how it was built. So they don't understand why in heaven they're ruling that a sukkah is no good. So I don't know what the issue is, but I just, I don't feel it. It's not a kosher sukkah. It's the order. The order wasn't done correctly. You always have to first, when we say you have to build the wall first, we emphasize build kosher walls first. So make sure first you do the tarp, and then you do the lovet if you're using tarp. Make sure you have everything of the walls as best as it's supposed to be, and then go ahead and put your schach. Now the good news is that if you messed up and you first did the schach and then the walls, there's still hope. What's the hope? Simply lift your schach up a tefach and put it back down.
Yeah, why did you do that?
Simply lift your schach up one tefach. You don't have to knock down the whole sukkah.
Oh,
Simply lift it up and put it back down. You lifted it up, you took it off. You put it back down, you put it on. So I put it on after I have kosher walls. Yeah, that's pretty, well, it depends how much schach you have and what type of schach you have. But yes, that's a method of doing it. Now, what about the following case that happens? If during the Chag, whether Shabbos, Yontiv, Chol Moed, a wind comes, knocks down all my walls, no problem, I'm going to build it back up. When I put it back up, what came first? Schach. So the answer is that that's not a problem. It's only initially required for you to have first walls and then schach, but once that's done, if it breaks apart, you can put the walls under the schach.
What about when you go to somebody else's sukkah? How would you know if they?
We just have to assume that they're doing it right.
Oh.
The good news is that there are some poskim who b'di'evid rule that it's valid. We don't rule that way, but it's always something to, in that you can always use that to rely b'di'evid. Now, if you know you can't eat in the sukkah, you have to tell them to. But if you don't know, you can assume people are doing the right thing.
So we can assume that they know that halacha, even though.
I hope so. Listen, I try to publicize it. Every year we publicize this halacha.
so the walls, you start with the 3 tefachim from the ground, right? You have
Correct.
your strings. It's 3.
Right.
3 is about here.
Right.
And maybe here.
Well, you can start in either direction. You can start from top to bottom or bottom to top. We don't care about that. As long as in the end of the day.
Well, but you've got 10. It's 10 from the bottom.
Correct.
To build the wall, right?
Correct.
So then I would think you'd start you'd have to have this go around here, start from the bottom.
Again, you can, either way, in the end result, if you have within 3 tefach of each other, doesn't matter what order you did it in, it's good. Okay, you still got your wall. Furniture. If you have a small sukkah or you have a huge porch but a very small amount of schach under the sky, so there's enough space for me, my physical body, and a chair, and my wife's chair to sit under the schach, but the table is going to sit under the non-kosher part of the sukkah, the roofing. Is that okay? And the answer is that it is not okay. The Chachamim said that such a way of eating is pasul. As people go after their food, so if your food's on the table, it's as if you're by the table, which is outside the sukkah. So therefore, you have to have at least majority of your table. Some say 1 tefach, others say majority inside the actual sukkah, meaning under the kosher area of the sukkah. So there's halacha that not just you have to be under a kosher sukkah, also your table has to be under a kosher sukkah.
Transition. Yeah.
Okay, we'll just conclude with one more halacha, and that is regarding an old sukkah, and that brings us straight to today's date. Today's date is the 15th of Elul, and yesterday, the 14th of Elul, began the 30 days before the Chag, when you're supposed to begin learning the laws of Succos. We already started earlier. We preempted this halacha last week. But this is halacha for all jury, even those not in our class are supposed to start learning Succos yesterday. And another halacha that comes into the play like this is as following. What if I built a sukkah for the sake of shade? Shade, to give me shade outside, nothing to do with the Chag. And then I say, you know what, this is perfect for Succos, to have to rebuild this whole thing. I paid all this money for this guy to come and put everything up. He put beautiful branches and everything. I just realized it's a perfect kosher sukkah. So if he did this within 30 days from Sukkot, starting, well, obviously Shabbos, you can't do anything, but starting last night, it's good.
Oh, nice.
But if he did it Friday, you got to redo the schach. You don't have to redo the walls, the schach. Okay, guys.
Beautiful. And stream.
We'll continue Meretz Hashem next week.